Dr. Slone, a former member of the Imagined Order, and who we haven't seen since Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 5 The Big Bang, is returning. So as you know, Dr. Slone was once a member of the Imagined Order, a faction that once operated in the shadows. She even once led the Imagined Order against the Seven in Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 2 Resistance in the Fortnite Marvel Zero War comics. But after her defeat against the Seven, Jones, and us, flash forward to Chapter 4 Season 3 Wilds, and Slone has returned. But this time, she is now a good person, a good guy. Because she had a long time to reflect on what just happened inside of her tank. To now see who General really was and who the Imagined Order really are. But this time, she wants us to revive the dead Zero Point by having Jones and us to travel back in time to the events of Fortnite Chapter 1 in order to strap Kato Thorne's time machine onto the Visitor's rocket and hit the Zero Point from the past to cause not only the black hole event, but even the Big Bang. And since then, we haven't seen Dr.Slone for a very long time. We haven't seen her since Chapter 5 and Chapter 6. And according to her, she says to Jones that reality is not done with her and Jones yet. Well, it seems that is coming true. Flash forward now to Chapter 7 Season 2 Showdown, and Jones is hinting Dr.Slone's return. In a secret standard weekly story quest, we had to collect 5 audio logs belonging to Hope and Jones. And when interacting with these audio logs, we hear a conversational dialogue between Hope and Jones. But the final audio log is where things get interesting. The 5th and final audio log can be located in Nuke Sanctuary in an underground canteen right next to the Visitor Reality Unknown's rocket. And once interacting with this 5th audio log, we hear a conversation between Hope and Jones. According to Hope, things are not looking good because, as you know, the Dark Voyager has successfully collected all 7 Zero-Point shards. And she's asking Jones if he has something up his sleeve. And Jones responded by saying that he has someone in mind, by telling Hope that she is dangerous. And Hope asked if she's good dangerous or bad dangerous. And Jones responded by saying both, but he trusts her, even telling Hope that the Foundation will not like this. And Hope responded by saying to him that if he trusts this person, then she will trust them as well, and asked Jones to bring her in. This means is that Jones knew where Slone was. He knew where Dr.Slone was this entire time and never told us, because it makes sense, because Jones doesn't really want to spill out any information of what's going on. Like, for example, like with the Zero Point, the shards, and now Slone's whereabouts. And it makes sense why the Foundation will not like this, because as you know, the Foundation and Slone have history. So yeah, it makes sense that the Foundation would not like this idea. But desperate times calls for desperate measures, and we need Slone's help against the fight against the Dark Voyager. However, there's something you should know. This isn't the first time that Slone was mentioned. If you were to play Fortnite's new mode, the Arena Box Fight, you will hear a conversational dialogue from Zadie to us. Every time you win or lose in a box fight, you will hear Zadie talking to us, saying what the Elite stand for and what they fight for. However, one of her dialogues mentions Slone, and this is what her dialogue said. Quote, "Sloane's alive because I haven't put her on my list. She is a double-edged sword, but sometimes that's what you need." So yeah, it seems that Zadie knew that Slone is alive, and she decided to spare her because she didn't put her on her list, whatever that is, and I think we don't want to find out what it is. And she says that she's a double-edged sword, meaning that she's a person who has good and bad qualities, which makes sense. Slone has a lot of knowledge of the 0 point, the 7, the last reality, and of course, the imagined order as well. So it makes sense for Zadie to say this. And you may be wondering, why does Zadie know Slone? Well, this is where things get interesting. By listening to more of Zadie's dialogue, we find out the reason why Zadie knows Slone is because it turns out Zadie used to work with the Imagined Order. That's right, Zadie was once a Imagined Order defense officer who led the defense for the Imagined Order against the Seven. And since the Imagined Order has crumbled, Zadie decided to now form a new faction, like former members of the Imagined Order who are now going through some double-edged sword conflicts in order to now fix what they have done and make the Omniverse a better place. And the reason why she hasn't found Slone is because, like us, she doesn't not know where Slone is, but Jones does. But it seems that Zadie might not like Slone because it makes sense. Because there is possibly some heated dispute between Zadie and Slone when the two of them used to be members of the Imagined Order. But again, desperate times calls for desperate measures. And again, since Dr. Slone knows knowledge of the 0 point, the last reality, the Imagined Order, and the Seven, she will help us in the fight against the Ice King. Because according to Jones, the Imagined Order even tried to find the original Ice King during the events of Chapter 3 Season 2 Resistance in the Fortnite Marvel Zero War comics. Which means, just like all this knowledge that she had, Slone may find a way to not only to settle this dispute between the Foundation and the Ice King, but even get the Ice King on our side in order to help us against the Dark Voyager. Because just like everyone else in the entire Omniverse, Slone does not want the 0 point to be fallen into the wrong hands. Even though it's kind of weird that the 0 point wants to be whole again. But even though Slone was once a bad person, she did redeem herself during the events of Chapter 4, Season 4, Last Resort, and Chapter 4, Season 5, Fortnite OG, in order to revive the dead 0 point in the main timeline, which in the result is the creation of the Fortnite OG timeline. It wasn't for Slone's idea for time travel, we wouldn't have got Fortnite OG. We wouldn't have got alternate versions of the Seven and alternate versions of the characters that all of us have known and loved through the years. So yeah, Slone may be a bad person, but she did help us through and through since Chapter 4 Season 3, Chapter 4 Season 4, and Chapter 4 Season 5. And now we need to know where she is all this time with the help of Jones. So yeah, that's it. That's what's going on in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2 Showdown. With Dr. Slone coming back to the story, things are now getting a lot interesting, which is going to be very exciting to see her again. And know what she looks like, because we don't know what Slone looks like now, since we know what Jones looks like now, but we don't know what Slone looks like now. Like, what does she look like now since the Big Bang? And all that said, thank you all so much for watching this video. Comment down below what your favorite things to do with Fortnite, creativity, valiant players, Fortnite Ballistic, Fortnite Reload, the arrival of Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 8 OG, and Fortnite Save the World. Comment down below what your favorite moments in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 2 Showdown, Fortnite Chapter 1 Season 8 OG, and Fortnite Save the World. Comment down below what Fortnite theories you want me to discuss and debunk, and I'll gladly make theory videos about them. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you won't miss any videos from me. I'll see all of you in the next video. Bye!